Alright, we're doing the practice for pages 113 through 114 evens. Your homework is going to only be certain of these problems, so make sure you listen and pay attention so you don't do more than you have to. But you're still doing odd problems, so. Alright. Okay. So problems 1 through 18, they give you pieces of information, either slope and a point or 2 points, and they want you to find the equation for that line. I will only be doing 2 examples of each, and you also for homework only have to do 2 examples of each. So if you were paying attention and you heard this part, now you know. Write it down in your notes if you want, or do so you don't forget later that you only have to do 2 examples of slope and point and 2 examples of point and point. So 4 out of these first 1 through 18 problems, only 4 I want you to do. So I'll go ahead and do question 2. They give us a slope and a point. And remember, for all these problems, once we have a slope and a point, so we know we're using point-slope form. So always, always, always rewrite the equation we're going to use before we do any substitution. Okay, so we're rewriting the equation. So it says our slope is -1, so m equals -1, and our point is 3, -5. Okay, do our substitutions. Y minus, what's our y value? Our y value is -5. Remember, use the parentheses for substitute. M is -1. X minus, and our x value is 3. Okay, y minus -5 is the same as y plus 5. And then we got -1 times x is -x. -1 times -3 is +3. And then to get y by itself, we subtract by 5. That gives us y equals -x minus 2. Now, it doesn't say to graph it, but if we were, we see our intercept is -2, and -x is the same as -1x, which is the same as -1 over 1x, which means we're going down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. We have a negative declining slope. All right, next we got question 4. It says our slope is a half, so m equals a half, and our point is -5, 2. Always, 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 well, we know we're using point slope because we have a point and a slope. Always, always, always rewrite your equation at the top of your little homework box. X minus x1. All right, y minus our y is 2. M is a half. X minus our x is -5. All right, y minus 2 is y minus 2. 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. And then we got 1/2 time minus negative. Okay, we know that these two minuses just become +5, so 1/2 times +5 is the same as 5/2, or 5/2. And to get y by itself, we just add a 2 to both sides, and that gives us 1/2 x, and 5/2 plus 2/2 is the same as 5/2 plus 4/2, which is 9/2. There we go. So those are our 2 point slope examples. Now we got 2 point examples. I'll do question 8 and 10 for that. So question 8. Walker requested numbers, and I just remembered, so I'll go ahead and put the number there. Question 8 says we have the points 5, 2, and we have the points -3, 8. -3, 8. Right, we have 2 points. Remember from our lesson video that what we need to find is just the slope, and the equation for a slope, rewrite that in this case, is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so that's just referring to 2 pairs of points. So our first y is 2, so we'll do a substitution. Our second y is 8. Our first x is 5, and our second x is -3. So we got 2 minus 8, which gives us -6. We got 5 minus -3, which is the same as 5 plus 3, gives us 8. We got -6/8. Did they simplify? Yes. Each are divisible by 2. So we got a slope of, made a mistake, a slope of -3/4. And now all we have to do, now that we have a slope and a point, we can use point slope form. So start by rewriting point slope form. That should be a m. Y minus, let's go ahead and use the one where they're both positive. Just that's probably helpful. Our y is 2. Our slope is -3/4. And then our x is 5. My handwriting's not very good right now, but oh well. That doesn't give you an excuse to have bad handwriting. -3/4 times x is -3/4x. And then -3/4 times -5. Negatives cancel, so we know it's going to be positive. 5 times 3 is 15. 1 times 4 is 4. Whatever. Alright, add a 2 to each side. Add a 2, add a 2. That's the same as 8/4, just for the sake of denominator. So we got y equals -3/4 x plus 23/4. All right, and we can graph it from here, even though it doesn't look like we can. 24/4. Wait, is that 20? That should be 23/4. 23/4 is almost 24/4, which is 6. So it's almost 6, so we'll just say it's almost 6 right here. And then our slope tells us down 3/4. Down 3/4, and so on and so on. And that's our line. And then lastly, I'll do question 10 for you. Another one with 2 points in it. We got the points -5, -1, and we got the points 2, 7. Let's do this one a little differently. Hopefully I don't confuse you. Let's go ahead and use point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And let's go ahead and use let's use the first set of points to fill in our y1s and x1. First y is -1 equals m times x minus our first x is -5. Alright, and you're like, how does this help us? We still have 3 variables. So what about for this x and y? We use these x and y's right here. Let's see what would happen. Our y is 7, so we got 7 minus -1, and our x is 2. 2 minus -5. Alright, let's simplify the left. 7 plus -1, or 7 minus -1 is the same as 7 plus 1, which is 8. We got m times 2 minus -5 is the same as 2 plus 5, which is 7. And we got 8 equals m times 7 to get m by itself. Since now we have an equation with one variable, we want to get that variable by itself. Get m by itself, we divide both sides by 7, which just gives us 8/7 equals m. So that's our slope. So we got our slope by using point slope form. How did that work? Because if we look carefully, if we were to get m by itself right here, we would have to divide by x over x minus 1, and when we do that, see how this part right here is the same as our because that'll cancel out. That's the same as our slope equation. So it's just the same thing we did last time, just in a different form. Anyway, now we have our slope and we have a point. So let's go ahead and use that. Rewrite our point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus our point, our y is 7. Our slope is 8/7. Our x is 2. We got y minus 7. 8/7 times x equals 8/7x. And then 8/7 times -2 gives us -16/7. Add a 7 to each side. Y equals 8/7. What's the deal with these weird fractions? Plus 7 is the same as plus 49/7, and that gives us something wacky. Plus 33/7. And yeah, so that's almost 5. So if we were to graph it, it'd be something like our intercept is 5, up 8/7, whatever. Alright, great. So like I said, you only have to do 2 examples of each for those questions. Now, let's go down to bottom of the page. We reset. We have a new 1 through 6. In those questions, we are going to graph each equation after rewriting it in slope intercept form. So remember, slope intercept form just means we want to get the y by itself. So for those problems, that's all we got to do. Get y by itself. That's our English phrase. Get y by itself. That's what slope intercept form means. So that's what I want you to write in your notes. Write in your notes, slope intercept form means get y by itself. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do question 2. 2, always start by rewriting the problem. 2 says, x minus 3y minus 7 equals 0. Get y by itself. So what's happening to y? It's getting multiplied by negative 3 and then added by negative 7 and added by x. So first thing we want to do is we want to get rid of the adding and subtracting parts. So subtract a x, add a 7, and what we do to one side we'll do to the other. Subtract a x, add a 7. That gives us negative 3 on this side, negative 3y on this side equals negative x plus 7. And then to get y by itself, we divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. And remember, when we divide across a whole chunk, it kind of works like distribution in the sense that we got to do each division separately. So these things cancel, we're left with y, and then we got negative x divided by negative 3. Negatives cancel out, we're left with x over 3, or another way of writing that, which might make more sense in this context, is 1 over 3x, 1 over 3x, and then we got positive 7 divided by negative 3, which just gives us 7 over 3, but because of the negative 7 over 3, there we go. We got slope intercept form. Okay, let's do another. I guess I don't need the graph, so we'll go to a non-graph page. All right, number 4, we got 6x plus 7y equals 3. We want to get the y by itself. Right now it's getting multiplied by positive 7 and added by 6x. So we'll subtract a 6x to both sides. That gives us 7y equals negative 6x plus 3. Normally we want to put the x first in our sentences, which is why I moved it right here. Even though it could have gone at the end too, but we usually just stick it up front, and then we get the 7, or the y by itself, divide the whole thing by 7. Y equals negative 6 over 7 is the same as negative 6 over 7. X, and then 3 over 7 is the same as 3 over 7. And there we go. And then lastly, number 6, we've got 2x minus y equals 0. There are two things we can do. I'll go ahead and show you both ways. Pause it, see if you can figure out the two ways we can do this one. Alright, so to get y by itself, it's getting multiplied by negative 1, added by 2x, subtract the 2x to both sides. That gives us negative y equals negative 2x, and then we divide by negative 1, and all dividing by negative 1 does is just change the sign, so we're left with y equals 2x. The other thing we could have done to get y by itself is to add a y to both sides. These things cancel, we're left with 2x equals y. Look, these two things are the same, they're just a different order. So those are the two ways we could have done that one. Alright, for number 7 and 9, which is your homework, that's just the same as what we did up top. So you'll just find the equation of the line given the slope and the intercept. Actually, you see how the intercept is a point? It's in its parentheses. You can just use point slope form just like all the other times. So the intercept is a type of normal point. So whenever we need to find a point, you can always use the intercept if you want. All right. And now, on the page 114, I want you to do questions 1 through 6, and 1 through 6 will be easy if you listen to me at the end of the lesson video, because I told you to copy down the table, which has all the answers to these questions. So you should be able to see that in your notes. And then for the rest of them you don't even have to do. And if you actually listen this far in the video, good job. You don't have to do the 7 through 37, so way to listen and watch the videos. And that's it for this one. I'll go ahead and make 3.6. Bye!